The Phoenix Suns have matched Deandre Ayton's contract offer from the Pacers, 4 years, $133 million. This will leave the Suns in an interesting situation, and we're going to discuss what the best plan or what the best thing they can do with Ayton is after matching his contract, because chances are he's going to be traded, but we don't really know how or where he's going just yet. Before we get into that, make sure to check out my last video where I explored the top 10 picks and where they are now from the 2010 NBA draft. That will be in the corner right here on the left side or on your top right side of the screen. Thank you guys if you're able to go check that out. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I would love to get to 300 subscribers by the end of August. If you guys enjoy this content, it helps me out so much. And let's go ahead and get right into the video. So throughout free agency, the Pacers have been the upfront or the front-running team in the Deandre Ayton sweepstakes, and obviously it was very big news today that he did accept a contract. Unfortunately for us, I really wished the Suns were just going to let it slide and lose him for nothing, because they are very much undervaluing Deandre Ayton and how good of a center I think he can be, and he has shown us that he can be. Honestly, I don't see why the Suns would not want to max contract Ayton, just because of how much money they were willing to give to Chris Paul, who is a very old center, how much money they were willing to give to Devin Booker, who is, yes, still a young up-and-coming guard and has a lot of time left in his prime, but so does Deandre Ayton. He's only 23 years old. I think he's going to be a great center for years to come, so I don't really understand the whole idea of why the Suns want to get rid of Deandre Ayton completely, but obviously they don't want him on the team, at least for the contract that they just accepted him to, so that leaves them with a few options, in my opinion, of where he'll go. And there's really not much we can do or they can do to stop Deandre Ayton unless they want to pay him that much money. So at the end of the day, they have to trade Deandre Ayton. And there's a lot of places or a lot of ways they can go about this. There are some individual team-to-team trades. I mean, there's a possibility maybe they make a trade with the Pacers for Miles Turner, some picks, or Miles Turner and like Chris Duarte. In return, Deandre Ayton goes to Indiana. But I don't think that's quite the value they're looking back for, especially being a contending team, at least for the first few or the next few years. So that's when you really start to shift your eyes towards the Brooklyn Nets. Now, they have been, in my opinion, the front runners for the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. Obviously, the Raptors were in discussions, but they're reasonably unwilling to part with Scotty Barnes, a guy that looks like he could be a Kevin Durant-esque player, or at least a top 10 player in the NBA a few years down the road. So that's completely understandable for the Raptors to be unwilling to do that. The Lakers were in conversations, but it looks more likely that they only have the assets to get Kyrie Irving, if they're even able to do that. At the end of the day, I don't know if they will be, but that's another video for another day. Then we have the Miami Heat, who I think have the assets to do it. They've got Bam Adebayo, they've got Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. Those three guys are most likely going to be the core of that trade, and a couple picks, maybe 4 or 5 first-round picks. And that would likely get the Miami Heat Kevin Durant. But at the end of the day, the last few days or weeks or something like that, maybe a last month or so, it looks like they've kind of shifted their eyes towards Donovan Mitchell a little bit more, especially now with the Jazz coming out and saying openly, looking and hearing any offers on the table for Donovan Mitchell, especially with the Knicks and the Heat. That is a big idea for the Heat to run after. So I think they've probably got away from the Kevin Durant sweepstakes just a little bit, and that really leaves the Suns as the front runners. They have the assets. They have DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges. Maybe even you have to throw in Cam Johnson. I don't know 100% if that would be a person that's put into there or a piece in the trade, but at the very least, you're looking at Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, and 4 or 5 first-round picks if the Brooklyn Nets are going to send Kevin Durant to you. And that's mostly because the Nets have all the leverage. They have no rush to trade Kevin Durant. He is about on a 3-year contract, so if they didn't want to trade him, he would either have to play for the Nets without wanting to, or he would just have to sit and rot the last few years of his prime away, and that's just something he doesn't have enough time to do anymore. So the Nets have all the leverage. The Suns are going to have to give up a package and a good amount of players anyways, and at the end of the day, it's Kevin Durant. You have to give up a lot of players. So no matter what happens, the Suns are going to be out of some players, especially most likely DeAndre Ayton, no matter where they go to. But I think the most advantageous or best thing for the Suns to do would be to turn to a 3 or 4 team trade, because a 3 or 4 team trade, you can kind of cushion yourself to not lose as many assets. Maybe in a 3 team trade, you only have to give up Deandre Ayton and a few first round picks in order to get Kevin Durant, because other teams can give up some pieces that they benefit from as well. And in my opinion, the 3 teams that would likely be included in this is the Indiana Pacers, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, now DeAndre Ayton obviously is going to want to go to Indiana. That's where he was going to sign. That's where he was willing to play. And the Pacers obviously want to have him on the team. So Ayton goes to Indiana. Kevin Durant comes to Phoenix. You've got to assume that the Brooklyn Nets are going to get Cam Johnson, Miles Turner, maybe Chris Duarte, some conglomeration, whatever you want to call it, of first round and second round picks, just to get enough value in return. I think that at the base is a fairly decent offer. Now, I do have another interesting offer, and let me pull it up for you guys. I'll try and flash it on the screen right here. It's from Instagram. I'll put the link to the page down below. The page is called Mock Trades, and he made a mock trade that involves actually 4 teams, which is a fairly big trade, and I think it makes sense for every single team involved. The Suns, the Jazz, the Pacers, and the Nets are the 4 teams involved. So the Nets will go out there, they'll trade. They get Donovan Mitchell, Mikal Bridges, and Miles Turner, a very good haul, something that I think could allow them to be competitive while maybe not competing for the finals to a degree. If they keep Kyrie Irving, I think this could keep them in the playoffs at least. Then we have the Pacers, who receive DeAndre Ayton. They have to give up Miles Turner and a few other things, probably first-round picks if we're being honest. The Jazz would receive Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas, 6 first-round picks. I don't think you guys understand how much value that is. 6 first-round picks and a few other seconds and pick swaps. And obviously the Suns would receive Kevin Durant. Now, I really like this trade for every single party. I think it gives the Nets some sort of competitive edge. It gives them a haul that is at least somewhat reasonable. It gives them a superstar in return for Kevin Durant. The Suns get their guy they wanted, DeAndre Ayton. The Jazz get Ben Simmons, a younger guy that I think still can be a quality NBA player. Cam Thomas as well, as he has showed so much promise as an offensive player. They can develop his defense. Maybe, just maybe, he's able to become a star in the NBA. Then you get a bunch of picks, which they already have a lot of, and I think they're going to trade up for Victor Wembanyama next year. Then the Suns obviously get the guy that they've wanted all along in Kevin Durant. So this trade just really pleases every party, and I really like this one. Shout out to Mock Trades for coming up with this one. It's a great trade for every team. How do you guys feel about this? Make sure to comment down below. This is very exciting news. What do you guys think the Suns will end up doing? It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to end up doing with DeAndre Ayton, just because the NBA free agency period has been a little boring the last few days. All of this news today has been so exciting to keep up with, and I'm really happy to see that DeAndre Ayton's going to get out of Phoenix, where he has been disrespected, and I think he's going to have a great role no matter where he goes. Comment down below your favorite trade for each team. I think it's a very, very interesting situation. Thank you guys for watching this one. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.